as well. So those who want the template can get it from there. All right, so there's a new template now. It's called the Set Template 2.0. And that template is the updated version that we're going to talk about today, right? So there are a few things that I've updated in the template, which I'm going to share with you. Can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, say something. Nope, I can't hear any of you. All right, so you can see my screen. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to load up the template that I sent you guys. So this is the template that you will have. It's called the Set Template 2.0, right? And one of the major advantages in this new template is that you have a lot of things self-contained within the template. So previously, you would have noticed that previously we have many different folders. We have one folder for the click, one folder for the guide. We have one folder for all the PPQs. We have one folder for the tempo tracks. We have one folder for pads. We have one folder for like, whatever it may be. Like we have different folders for different things. But however, what I noticed is over time when we were working together, I noticed that it was very cumbersome to like dig through all those folders, and like some of you might be really organized and you know exactly where everything is, but then some of you maybe from the last time you downloaded the files, you forgot where you put them or something like that. Then you cannot find it when you need it, so it causes a lot of delay in your workflow, right? So this template is fully self-contained. That means all the PPQs, all the guides you ever need, all the tempo track you need, all the clicks, basically anything you need, even pads is already inside this template. So if you download this, you don't have to download anything at all. This is all you need to start working on your worship set. Of course, the songs you need to download. For each song, you download the tracks individually, which is also being sent to Notion. So everything is on Notion now. Basically, that's like what I'm saying, right? Everything is inside here already. Okay. Let me show you where it is. Okay. Let me show you exactly where it is. So what's happening right now? You see this tempo track, right? You guys are familiar with the session view. So this is called the arrangement view. This is called the session view. Basically, all the guides and all the stuff is here actually. It's in the session view, right? And you might not like to switch back and forth like this, but what you can do is you can open your browser, right? You can go to your set template, expand it. Say, for example, right, song 1, and you need to add a slide at song 1. Where would you add your slide? You'd add it in your PPQs, right? So go to the same template. See, look at this. I'm looking at the same template folder. Go to PPQs. There we go. So you want playlist item, you can drag it and drop it into your PPQs there. Look how I didn't navigate outside of the template. I'm still inside the template. Yeah. Of course, reference, there's nothing. This is a part of the song itself. And then the tempo track. If you want to add a tempo track, just drag that, bring it into your tempo, as you normally would. Go ahead and change the segment BPM over here. This becomes a leader, right? So you would do it as normal. So you have all the ability to extend it, make it smaller, whatever you want to do. Yeah. Okay. And besides that, there's also, you have your tempo track, you have your reference, you have your PPQs. You also have click. So in here, there's two types of click. There's the 4/4 and the 6/8, which are the most primary ones that we always use. So say, for example, a worship leader asks you, hey, I want to have a click track for this particular song, but I don't want to have any tracks. So you can just drag your tempo track, put it there. Sorry, there's a duplicate track here. Put it there, and then lead. We give it a tempo of, say, 100. Yeah. Drag it as much as you want. Take the click from here, put it on the click track over there. Drag it as much as you want. You're good to go. No more digging around, finding the click folder, nothing. It's all here already. Okay. And if you need a guide, for the sections, you can always go here. So say if you need a guide, just simply drag and drop. You have your dynamic guides here, you have your flow guide, your instruction guides. All your guides are here basically. Song sections are up here on top. So yeah. 1, 2. All right. So all this while you noticed I didn't dig through any folders. It's all still within the template. And we've got something interesting with this new template. So we are able to play pads, and we're able to play looping pads especially, but also at the same time we're able to play piano loop from this template. Okay, so usually the Marcus track is always empty. So what I'm doing is I'm making use of the Marcus track to become my pads generator. So you will see on the Marcus track there's this thing called the pad generator. And then on the sections, you can see the different keys that are there, but we are not using this to trigger them. We are using the Ableton cues to trigger our pads. Yeah, because these are the samples themselves, so these should not be touched. Only these has to be touched. So what I would do, say for example, right, after song 1, the worship leader wants to have pads, and you notice that I didn't leave much room here. It's very short over here. You see what I've included for you here. It says add pad cue here. So if I want to have pads in D, for example, I'll just take the D pad marker, the cue here, and I'll put it there. Okay. Now watch what's going to happen when it hits that cue. So the pad is going to keep running until either you stop, you press the space bar to stop, right? Or until, if you want to go to the next song, you need to have, oh yeah, that's another thing, right? With this new feature, you must also include the stop pads cue when you want to stop the pad. Otherwise, it will keep going. If you don't stop the pad, for example, right? So play here, and I fire song 2. The pads are going to keep going. Okay, no more dragging around audio files here and there until you have to make sure that the loop is correct. You need to make sure that you fade it in properly, fade it out properly. No more of that business. You can simply drag the cue in the key that you need it, yeah, and then you put it there. All right. Previous loop is basically the loop cue that we normally use. It goes to the previous locator. I also have this new loop called the IN loop, which is the infinite loop, which is actually at the beginning of the track. So we put this, we have an infinite loop here. In case you need to run pads, but you don't want to run anything here, then what you can do is you can have the pads here, but then instead of previous loop. Sorry, I'm going to put in a new track first, chop it down a little bit. Instead of previous loop, if you put infinite loop, it will just go to the infinite loop. So now it's just going to keep looping forever. It's right there in the front. Yeah, so that's another like interesting way that you can sort of have that. Yeah. Again, like I said, if you don't stop the pads, you see, no matter where I go, if I start playing, the pads are going to start playing. So you need to use the stop cue to stop the pads properly. So. Yeah. If you feel really adventurous, what you can do is you can actually like play with the settings of the pads as well. So you can play the pads and then go to the sections bar. Once you select it, you will see this window at the bottom. You can have different elements. So basically, you can control how you want your pads to sound. Yeah. Even the key changes are really, really smooth. So when you want to change key, for example, you can just put that, and then you want to change to the key of G, say for example over here. So it's really, really smooth. Yeah. So that's the pads. We trigger them from the Ableton cue. So notice over here, there are two things, right? One thing is called the stop track cue, and then one is the stop pads. The stop track cue is basically what you already think. Yeah, it just stops when it reaches the thing. And then the stop pads is basically yeah, it just stops the pads. Okay, so far so good. And another thing you might have noticed when you select basically all your controls in the sections, they are hidden in the sections track. Basically, the markers track has now become the sections track, and there's a reason for it. I will tell you why later. Okay. It has become the sections track. That means in the future, any new tracks that we create, we're going to call it the sections. But that doesn't mean the previously created files cannot be used. You can still use them. You just have to drag it to the sections queue. Yeah. So this is your pad generator. And if you feel like all of this is too crowded, you can double click on the title and it will collapse. This is a little notepad for you to type any notes that you need. Yeah. Say, for example, add after song 4, intro straight after song 3, I don't know, whatever you want basically. Yeah. And then this is just basically a JPEG image of the keyboard. Also, I made this so that it's a little bit easier for you guys. You don't have to like jump back and forth between a different window, look at the JPEG file and then come back to Ableton, look at the JPEG file and come back to Ableton. No more jumping around. You can just directly, if you select the sections track, automatically this is there. If you don't want to see it, you just double click. It will collapse like this. Yeah. And then at the very end over here, I have this small little how to use link here. So you can copy that, and then if you paste it, it will take you to a page showing all of the new updates that we've made for the thing, right? So if you ever need any help, it's always there for you to refer to this document. Yeah. Even the link is also here, right here for you. You don't need to look anywhere else. Yeah. I implemented this new item. It's a little bit buggy. It's called the transporter. So if you press the key M, it opens up this list. And in this list, it helps you to jump to many locators. But the thing I don't like about this is it doesn't, for some reason, it's not displaying all the locators in the correct order. You can see that song 1 is all the way down here. And then some of the locators are just all over the place. So I don't like it, but I know there are some people who like to click instead of. Some people, you know, I usually advise to set your key over here and then, you know, program a number to it. But I know that some people like to click instead of, you know, like when Ableton is playing, you know, it's a bit difficult to click exactly at the spot because, you know, you can miss it. But if you look through here, it's a bit easier to click. You can go jump straight to the sections. You can jump straight to the sections using this, and you press the M key to open and close it. Yeah, it's just a small little thing for you guys. It's not my favorite feature because sometimes it's easy to get lost. Yeah, but it's just there. If you ever want to use it, it's there for you. Yeah, it just jumps to the queue. So if you start playing, for example, you'll just jump to a different queue. Whatever you select, it will jump there. Yeah. Okay. Over here, there's a panic button. So this is basically the last locator on the project to the very end. If you press the button X in any scenario, just press X and then it will just stop everything. Right. This is in order to help you if there's any emergency, something is really off and you need to make immediate decision to stop it, and you just press X. Yeah. Also, there's a piano loop in this thing. So it's at the very beginning. After the infinite loop, there's a piano. It's basically an ambient piano loop, and its original key is in the key of F sharp. If you want to change the key, you can always use the warp function to bring it up and down. But yeah, you can just
looping piano playing.
Yeah, so you know what it is. It's just a piano, and you know sometimes if the pianist is too tired, you just ask them, hey, what key are you playing in? You know, and then you use your thing. Okay, so hey, I'm playing in the key of A. Okay, so I'm in the key of F sharp. So 1, 2, 3. Sorry, F sharp, G, and then A. And we just start playing. So you can give them a little bit of a break. Yeah. I put it there because, you know, over time, when we experience certain things, we learn from it and we make improvements along the way. Okay. So you guys already know song 1, song 2, song 3. At the end of every song, I put a little bit of a loop cue there. Yeah. You have to zoom in really hard to see it. Because now that we have the paths generator, we don't need to have so much gap between our paths anymore. And even all our stuff for the closing is here. So this is for after song 4, it goes into this loop, dominant paths, loop, offertory paths, loop, fade out, yeah, and then ministry paths, loop, closing song, paths, and loop, and closing song with the thank you slide cues here, and then it ends straight away, right? Pretty straightforward so far, yeah. Something else that you might want to note over here is, I think you're already paying attention to what it is. You will notice that there's no tracks track here anymore, yeah? You will also notice that we've removed that. So what's happening now is in every song folder, there is division of tracks, basically. And every one of those tracks are going to different buses over here. Okay, so let me show you an example. I'm just gonna plug in. Give me a minute. Just gonna plug in the thing over there. Okay, I'm gonna go through my set for Holy Spirit Night. This set has been built using the new template, and I'll show you what's happening behind the scenes. Give it some time to load. It's a very old hard drive. Okay. All right. So as you can see, there are many songs here. It looks like there is no space between them, but in reality, there is space. It's just very very zoomed in in that sense. Let me just quickly fix this. I think. Okay. You will notice that there is, yeah, you see, after song 2, there is a little bit of a loop there, yeah. So it might look like there's nothing there, but there is, yeah. So what's happening here is when I dragged in the songs, I put it into the correct folder. So what I've done is all the rhythmic tracks. So it's quite easy to do this actually. You just select, right? And then, like for example, say that your tracks are somewhere down here, right? All you have to do is you select them, and then you click on the drop here button, and you paste it. It will automatically drop right on top of that area, right? And then you do the same for the bass tracks. You do the same for the guitars, keys and pads, vocals and vocal effects. So the reason why we do this is for each song, all of those tracks are being combined into these buses here. So this from here is going to the mixer. Yeah, from here it's going into the mixer. you know what all of these are. You know what the click is. You know what the guide is. You know what the reference is. Service elements is basically the intro video. And in the future, if we have any other elements also, we will play it through this channel. Yeah. And then the IAC driver is same like you go to Ableton Queues here, and then you go to network PPQs over there. That one is the same, but the mixer part, everything goes here. So if you look at the picture that I sent you of the mixer, now the mixer has all of these tracks there as well. So what is the meaning of that? That means each of the groups of instruments, the volumes and the mixing can be adjusted live and adjusted separately. So say for some songs, you don't want to have so much guitars. You can reduce it on the spot with the mixer. Some songs you don't want to have so much keys. You can reduce it. Some songs you want to increase the vocals from the tracks. You can do that as well. So you are not stuck to the limitations of Ableton in that sense, right? So everything is going through the masters track as well, but the masters track is not being used. So I'm just gonna like mute it. So there's no mute button for the master track, but you can just reduce the volume to negative infinity. I'm gonna mute the reference track as well. I'm just gonna play this. That's the vocals. It's the guitars.
Bridge.
And then if I go to a different song,
Bridge.
So like I said, right, all of those instruments from that folder, when you put them in the correct folders, they all go to the different channels here. So this is a great advantage because on our live scenario, one of the things that always happens is the tracks are either very strong and there's so much going on, or there's no way to control it. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's a bit troublesome when there's so many things going on, but you want to mix, you want to adjust only the guitars. Then you have to open the song one folder, look for the guitars, and then slowly adjust the volume from the side. But now you no longer have to do that. You can directly from the mixer itself, not even Ableton, just on the mixer. You can adjust the level and the volume of each of those category of instruments. So that will be a bit more flexible and help us create a better sound on the live situation. So we are not limited by the mix that we create. So because of this, you don't have to do the volume adjustment and balancing anymore. So remember how for every song, we would come here and we would adjust the volume for each song, making sure that it's equal volume as the rest of the songs. So you don't have to do that anymore because all of the volumes are going through here and they have limiters on them. So if it goes above a certain volume, it will not allow the mix to go that loud. So you are protected, no matter what, you are protected. So you don't need to go and adjust the volumes of individual things. So that one is no longer needed, okay? And another thing is, since everything is going through the master track, if you put the volume up like that, 0, yeah, you don't have to go into individual tracks and then select master anymore. You just have to like do that, and then you can immediately export it. You don't have to sort of go to the guide track, the click track, the reference track, and start unmuting one by one, because all of them are already available to you through the masters track. So the master track will be there. Basically, we use it for rendering the practice tracks for the team. So when you have to select something and you want to render something, it's there lah. Yeah. One more thing that I discovered about Ableton, which I found to be pretty cool, is actually the idea that you can make some edits without the need for selecting everything. So say, but you have to use this carefully because sometimes it's problematic. I'll show you how it works. It's called linking the track. So what we do is we select from here, tempo track reference, the click guide, sorry. Click guide, let's say I want to edit song 4, right? Then right click and then you click link tracks, right? Now what happens here, say I want to delete this, right? I don't have to select the whole thing. I just select the top and then delete it. PPQs didn't delete because I didn't link it. But if I linked it, it will also delete that one, right? This doesn't only work for deleting, it works for a lot of things actually. So say, for example, you want to do some crossfades, right? You can actually just, you know, from wherever you are, you can just like shorten the track, make it longer, make it shorter. Yeah. Oh wait, sorry. I think I'm highlighting the wrong one. But yeah, you get the point. Basically, what you can wait, find it here. All right. So you see when I adjust the fade of this, it adjusts all the linked tracks fading as well, even though I'm only adjusting one track. So this is just a cool little feature that you can try out. I know that it might not necessarily, because I tried to use it myself. I didn't really use it that much because I was so used to doing it the old way already, and it was a bit easier for me to just do it the old way. Because if you're doing it this way, right, you have to come here, you have to link your tracks, and then once you're done, you have to unlink your tracks again. So it's like double steps. So for me, I didn't really like do a lot of that, to be honest. So that is that. Okay. Let me just quickly check if there's anything else that I'm missing out. I'm just gonna go to this. After this, we'll open the time for some questions. If you guys have any questions, you can ask here. Oh yeah, one more thing. There's this thing called the info view now. So if you press the question mark button, the question mark button will open this little box here. Yeah, this box is basically the info view. It tells you the brief descriptions of all the things, right? So if you ever don't know what certain things are, I've actually included the descriptions for you. So if you hover your mouse over the sections track, you can see the notes there. AKA, also known as markers. Do not rename this track as it will be used for AbleSet integrations in the future. I'll tell you what that is. This is also the track that holds and operates the pads generator. Ignore the tiny play button you see on the grayed out track. So I'm telling you, ignore this button, this tiny play button. And then you see tempo track. Every track has notes on it. Yeah. What is this? Transpose assist. Basically an image of the keyboard that will assist you to transpose anything you need to. Pads generator. Pads generator that contains all the pad layers and the control parameters that you might need. Transporter. You see, so basically everything there's notes lah. So even inside Ableton, you have all the help you need. Okay, so see for example, rhythmic track. So it will tell you this bus output must be mapped to the T-Rhyth channel on the Yamaha TF mixer. A bus is basically a channel through which you can allow certain tracks to be heard when you send it to them. Similarly, everything is properly labeled. So if you ever get confused, you can always look through that notes that are there. And of course, if you need to write your own notes, you can write it here. Yeah. What about other things? Sections I've already done. Using pads, transporter already done. Set notes, this is good. Tempo, piano loop. Yeah, basically the piano loop is coming from the tempo track. Yeah, so we're using the sections track as pads, and we're using the tempo track as piano. Yeah, and then song tracks grouping, I talked about it, buses and master. Yeah, exporting practice tracks, talked about it already. All the cues, you now know where it is. Huh? It's all going to be in the current project. Yeah, you don't have to look anywhere else. It's all going to be there. Yeah, and there's some assistance for you. When you download the template, automatically this naming structure is there, so you can immediately change the name. And then there's some pre-made folders. So inside the main folder, you will find this resource files. The folders are already created. They are empty folders. So you can add your charts inside this folder, your practice tracks inside that folder, and ProPresenter files and so on. Yeah. There are some placeholder clips. Remember I showed you add playlist item here, add pad queue here. This is just to help you remember in case you forget anything. Yeah. There's a panic button. I told you about this. Just press the X key. There's an infinite loop. So if you use the in loop queue, it automatically takes you there. And we've got some